Hi there, Sean from YouLi here to talk about personalizing your trip page. In this video, I'm going to discuss personalizing the itinerary, personalizing arrival and departure dates, personalizing your task, and personalizing a price. So to get started, let's talk about the itinerary. So if you take a look here, I'm just going to jump into my trip page itinerary. And you can see I have this itinerary item, arrive a day early. Now let's just see how that looks on a traveler's page. So if we go back to manage people, and we can just click view as any of these travelers. And you can see right here, there's arrive a day early. You can see that this is starting on May 4th. The trip page only goes to May 5th, or starts at May 5th. So what we're going to do is we're going to personalize this so this traveler is the only one who can see this event, because we don't want other travelers to see this event. It's personalized to this person that this specific traveler is arriving a day early. So if we go back here and we jump back into our itinerary, we can click on this event and click edit. You can also add a new item, but in this case, we're just going to edit this existing one. So if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, we have this visibility section. Now, the standard function is so it only shows, so it will show to everyone, right? But we can also personalize it so it will only show to selected people, or we can show to everyone except. You can choose either of these options. It really depends on what's easiest. Because we only want one traveler to see this, I'm going to do show to only selected people. And you can see I've already added this traveler's name, but to show you how that functionality works, I can clear the text box and just start typing. And as long as the traveler has been added to your trip, they'll show up in this list. So we're going to add the traveler and click publish. Now that we've done that, let's see how it looks on their trip page versus somebody else's trip page. So we'll view Darby here, and then we're going to view Brian Smith right here. So first let's take a look at Darby's count. If we go to Darby's itinerary, we can see it says arrive a day early. That's great. But now if we go over to Brian's, we can see that item isn't there. This is a really great feature because you're able to customize the itinerary down to the specific traveler. So if somebody is choosing to do an extra event, or in this case, arrive a day early, you can reflect it on their itinerary and you don't have to bother the other travelers by having an itinerary item that doesn't pertain to them. Now, you may have noticed there is one issue. This says the day that they're arriving is May 4th. However, the trip starts on May 5th. Well, we can fix that. If we just pop right back to our trip page on the back end, and we can actually click Edit under Darby, and this is where we get into customizing and personalizing arrival and departure dates. So let's scroll down here, and you can see how I got to this, just so you see that again, is I have Darby right here. I click on Edit, and I'm just going to scroll down, and then you can see I have an option for personalized trip arrival date and personalized trip departure date. Both these work exactly the same, and I'm going to talk about personalized trip arrival date here. Now, Darby is arriving on May 4th. So let's set that to May 4th, and then we're just going to hit update. Awesome. Okay, so now we've updated Darby's arrival date to May 4th, and let's see how that reflects on their trip page. So before I refresh, you can see the trip starts on May 5th, and you can see up here it says May 5th through May 16th. But when I refresh this, switch travelers, let's go view as Darby again. Great, so now you can see Darby is May 4th through May 16th. And then we can also click on their itinerary, and they have the 4th added here, which they didn't before. And you can see arrive a day early starts on Saturday, May 4th. Amazing. So again, this is a really great way for you to add itinerary items, for you to extend or increase, a person's trip length, whether it's starting early or arriving late. And you can do this at any point on the trip. You don't have to do it before you add them or right after you add them. They can select an item later on and let you know 2 days before the trip that they would like to arrive early, and then you can quickly pop in and add an itinerary item for them and customize their arrival date so their itinerary and their trip dates reflect exactly what they're doing, and it pertains to that specific traveler. And if another traveler isn't doing that event, if another traveler is arriving on the day the trip is supposed to, then they don't have to be bothered by somebody else's itinerary. So now, let's talk about personalizing tasks, because that's another really great feature. So I'm going to go back to Edit Trip, and we're going to jump into our task. So I like to use this example. Let's say passport upload. Maybe you're running a local trip and you only want one person to upload their passport because there's only one person coming from outside of the country. Well, let's click on Edit right here. And this is going to be the same experience as before. We have this assigned to function, very similar to the visibility function on on the itinerary items. So you can see here that it says the same, pretty much the same language as that pop-up for the itinerary items. So we can actually click on Show to Select People Only, and I can start typing a name in here. So in this case, let's type in Brian. So now we're going to set this task to only show to Brian, because in this case, we're assuming Brian is the only one who needs to upload passport information. So now that we're published, let's click back to Manage People, and we'll view as both Brian and we'll view as another traveler to see how their tasks look different. And I'll view as myself. Great, so right now we are viewing as Brian, and you can see he still has the same dates as we did before. We adjusted the dates for Darby. That did not change for Brian, so that's great. And same with his itinerary. But now let's jump into his task, because that's where it is going to be different. So in this case, we've labeled task to do. You can change all of these labels at any time, and we have other videos and documentation on how to do that. So you can see here, Brian has this thing, this task option, provide passport details. Awesome. That's exactly what we wanted to happen, but let's make sure it's not reflecting on another traveler's trip. So you can see I have myself here, and we're going to click back to the to-do list, and you can see there is no passport option here at all. This also has changed, because before this was talking about the passport, because that was the task that was due soonest, but in this case, Sean does not have to turn in his passport, does not have to complete a task for his passport, so he's not going to see that. Again, another really great feature, so you can really customize these trips down to the specific traveler. You can ask all the information you need on the trip, and you don't have to worry about, if somebody doesn't need to do this task, or if you don't need this information from a specific traveler, because you can decide who you want these tasks to actually show to. Great, so now we're going to do one last thing, and we're going to talk about personalizing the price. Now, let's go back to Edit Trip again, and let's just jump into our pricing. You can see here we have 3 different packages. We have a single room, we have this package here which I have hidden from travelers, which is just another feature, but let's work within this one. So I'm going to hide this, make sure this is hidden. And this again is another visibility feature, so you can kind of choose who these packages show to. It's not as robust as personalizing it, but you can hide packages so you can choose who goes into them and who can actually see them. But let's talk about the price. So right now we have this package set to $1,000, and it's called Hidden Package. And I'm just going to save this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a specific traveler's view. So let's pop into Darby again and just click View As. we go to cost, you can see, if I were to say pay in full, so Darby owes $750 on this trip, but let's change, oops, sorry, I forgot to do one thing. So what we need to do first is, because that package is hidden, we just need to move Darby into that package. So we can go down to here and we can move them into the hidden package. So now that Darby's in the hidden package, I can hit update and I'm going to click view as again. So now I'm going to pop into cost. And you can see now the total owed is $1,000. And they can choose whether they're paying in full or if they're paying the deposit or whatnot. But let's say that Darby doesn't owe $1,000. You gave them a discount or are completely removing the price whatsoever. Maybe they get a freebie. So let's do that. Let's put Darby in a free package, but you still want them to count for the itinerary, the inventory space of this room. So if we go back to edit trip, we can click manage people again, and you can go into Darby's package once more, click edit, and we can change their personalized price. So right here, we can just go to enable personalized price, and we can change this to $0. I'm just going to move them into a package that we can see so you can see how it reflects on the actual trip page as well. So we're moving them back to the $750 package. We're going to set the personalized price to $0. They should owe $750, but we're making this personalized price $0. And then we are going to hit, oh, the one thing to note about this, as you see when I click this button, this pop-up comes up, specific explanation for this traveler. So this is where you can really explain why they have this personalized price. You can see this pulls in the pre-existing explanation that you set up for the overall trip. But if you turn on enable personalized price, then they're going to get a specific explanation so you can add in any details here. So in this case, let's just put in this trip is free. You know, like, you know, let's say they went on a lot of your trips and you decided to give them a free trip. So we can update this. And then now we can actually go in, click view as Darby again. We can scroll down to cost. You can see the package still says $750, but the total says $0. And then you can change this heading, but it just says this trip is free since it's your 10th trip in a row. And that's the explanation that we just updated together. So yeah, once again, this is just how you can personalize a trip page to specific travelers. It's a really great functionality that we offer, so you don't have to worry about a trip page looking exactly the same for everyone if everyone is not doing the same thing. So you don't have to create multiple different trips. You don't have to create, you know, send specific emails out. You can just create one trip and then personalize it down to each individual traveler. Everyone gets their own trip page, and everyone will only see information that actually pertains to them.